This is a Kahan TV sports break. We haven't talked to you NBA fans in a little while now. Sometimes life gets in the way of what we really want to do. But since I've been a kid, all my friends and I ever wanted to do was talk basketball. On our nutrition and lunch breaks, I remember fidgeting and waiting for class to end so we could head off to our spot and do what we really came to school for, which was talk basketball with our friends. The NBA expert Vlad was one of the wonderful people that would aid us in getting through our miserable, awkward teenage days of high school. Those breakneck, high-intensity 15-minute discussions was what we lived for. And then the bell rang and we had to go back to hell, otherwise known as Mr. Baker's geometry class. But nowadays, it doesn't seem like the good time that it used to be. Honestly, with the exception of Game 3, the much-anticipated NBA Finals rematch between the Cavs and Warriors fell flat, as the addition of Kevin Durant to the 73-win Golden State team proved too much for LeBron James and the Cavaliers to overcome. Not only were the finals just not competitive, but the style of play in the NBA has completely changed since the early 2000s, and questions now arise about whether or not that means the standard of play has lowered. Now, we're here to talk about what we just witnessed this season and what we have to look forward to next season. And to do that, I pulled off a feat to get the NBA expert, Vlad Kitajczyk, back into our studios. Vlad, it's been a little while. We've both been up to things, but you've been hanging out with girls, I hear. I can't blame you there. Sounds more exciting than the basketball we've been getting lately. How's that going, though? What's up with this girl?
Oh, wow. Oh, the girl. Hey, man, it was just a first date. We'll see how it goes from here. But I appreciate you asking it. It shows that you care.
Well,
like
that's interesting to hear. I want to hear more about it when we get out of here. But for now, I also want to ask you about the NBA Finals.
Sure.
Cleveland's performance, 4-1 series loss.
Sure.
What do you make of it?
I mean, it was kind of to be expected. I think we both, in our finals picked the Warriors to win in the end. I just think the Cavs played it all wrong. They played it all wrong. They knew that they were playing against a team that's more talented they are, has better offensive players, has more offensive weapons. Why would you run with them? Why would you play that up and down breakneck pace? It doesn't make sense. It defies all logic. You're supposed to slow it down, play half court, try to post up LeBron more, try to post up Kevin Love more, try to get, attack the boards, get them in foul trouble, get their front line in foul trouble, do something. The way they were defending him, Durant was scoring at will, Curry was just draining threes, even Thompson got hot a couple of games. They're not going to overcome that. They don't have the talent. Nobody has the talent to compete with this team. No one. So as good as LeBron is, as fantastic as he played in the series, it's too much to overcome when you're just going basket for basket with the Warriors. It's not going to happen. You have to slow down, and you have to slow them down. That's the only way you're going to be able to beat them. The only way.
I agree. I mean, it's not a tactic that is very obvious in basketball as it is in other sports like soccer, where you play defensively and kind of slow the pace down. In basketball, the equivalent of playing defensively in soccer would just be to slow the pace down. I remember when Mike Dunleavy, I'm a Clipper fan, in case none of you out there know that, Mike Dunleavy Sr. was hired to coach the Clippers when they were a 30-25 win team back in 2004. And he knew the limitations of his team, and he would basically tell them to slow it down. They would post up a lot, and it's kind of like you assess your team, you admit that you're not the stronger team, especially if your team's not good in transition. You don't want to go up and down with a team that is good in transition. And he kept those teams competitive. They were not a good team, but they were always in those games, 5 or 6, 7 points down in the fourth quarter, not getting smashed. And it was good to see. At least we were competing. We were a respectable team. So I agree with you in that respect. I think the Cavs had a better shot than they let on, but it was a coaching mistake by Tyronn Lue or LeBron James, however you put it, whoever the head coach is there.
Right.
But
well, I think also there was a lot of pride because they were like, oh, well, we're not going to slow down. They even asked LeBron point blank, why don't you guys play slow basketball? Why don't you play more half court? It's like, no, we played like this all season. That's the way we're going to play. That's the way we play. We're not a slow team. I'm like, that's just dumb, dude. That just shows that, I mean, for a guy of LeBron's caliber, he should know better because he's a smart guy. He has a good instincts for basketball. That's a dumb thing to say. You know who you're playing against. This is not like you're playing against an average team or a normal playoff series like you're playing against the Toronto Raptors or something. This is the best team in basketball. This is the way to beat them, and they didn't do any of that. They just played up and down with them and tried to outscore them, and that was not going to work.
Yeah, but that just seems to be the trend of what happened. Like we said, the style of plays changed. The rules changed. The rules completely changed after Shaq was so dominant. They let zone defense into the NBA.
Yeah.
And gradually over the years, this is what became of the NBA. They decided teams don't need big guys, maybe one if he's good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'd rather not even have one. The defensive rebound is a completely lost art in the NBA. There's no such thing anymore as a guy who gets it's just a mad scramble. Four outside shooters. Once the shot goes up, God knows who's going to get the rebound. And it's just a completely different game.
Sure.
The what you're saying about Kevin Love posting up or LeBron posting up, they kind of don't have the time that they used to post up. You have to do it quickly because your double team's going to come.
So
double teams are legal now. No, I would still do it. I think to get to the basket is the most high percentage shot you could get. And I think that you still have to try to get to the hoop. But that's not what they were doing.
So you double teamed, you kick it out. That leaves us wide open players. At least you're playing within a normal half. That's the way half-court basketball used to work, though, right? You threw it inside. Your big guy was double teamed. You threw it out to the shooter. He hit the shot, or he didn't. But at least that's fundamental basketball. That's the way. That's fine if they did that. That was totally okay with them going into LeBron. He's double teamed because they can't guard him because he's too strong. Nobody could really guard him in the paint. Durant would have no chance. Iguodala would have no chance. So they double team, let's say, and he throw it out to like some guys that could hit threes. I don't know.
But the fact is, it's not the goal anymore to get a bucket near the hoop. If LeBron drives in and gets the bucket, good. But he's not really. That's not his goal. He knows he's gonna get double teamed as soon as he goes in, and he's gonna try to find a 3-point shooter. It's all about the 3-point shot now. When you're not a good team, or you're not a good player.
Yeah.
You have to get to the hoop. That's the most high percentage shot you could get. You're right there. Just lay it in. And that's not what's going on in today's NBA. It's all about the 3-point bomb. And they couldn't hang with the Warriors. And I do feel that they could have tried a different style to at least shake it up because they knew. Well, I guess they didn't know. They thought they were going to be able to hang with that. But in hindsight, they should have known, and I think maybe LeBron James, when he's older, will look back on it and realize that it was kind of the wrong thing to do. But we'll see. Anyways, we got to move on, Vlad.
Yeah.
No surprises last season. The Warriors took it. We got to move on to next season and look ahead. Some teams may think they can add a couple of pieces and give it a go against the Warriors. And a lot of teams are in rebuild mode, looking to the future when maybe Steph and KD will get older and leave an opening for the rest of the league.
Right.
We just had the NBA draft, and it is the off season, so there are a lot of moving parts. By the time this show airs on tape delay, there could have been a blockbuster deal that shakes up the NBA. But as of right now, not much has happened. Let me ask you real quickly, what needs to happen for anyone, to compete with the Warriors next season?
It would take. Basically, what Durant did, it would take a couple of superstars wanting to play together. It would take something like LeBron leaving Cleveland and going to play with Kawhi Leonard, and maybe Chris Paul joining them. Something off the wall, something crazy, something just that doesn't you wouldn't need to do if this was just another team that you have to beat. But you have to be like a super team. And
do you see this happening? Because a lot of players are going to have to leave a lot of money on the table to make this happen. You mentioned Chris Paul.
Well, I think
he could leave the Clippers.
I don't know about LeBron because I think he wants to win more championships, but he doesn't need to for his legacy. His legacy is pretty secure at this point. He's one of the top.
So he'll take the money.
I don't know. We'll see. But I would assume unless he wants to, how much more does he want to win, or compared to how much more money he could still earn in, he makes most of his money anyways off marketing deals, off like shoe deals, off his brand. So I don't know. Maybe it won't matter to him. Maybe he will join another, Chris Paul and Leonard and be coached by Pop. That's the one I could see, unless he can convince some other stars to come to Cleveland. But that's what would need to happen. They would need to gather a couple of star players together, superstar players, guys like Paul, Leonard, and that would be enough right there. If the Spurs could do it, they could clear the cap and do it because Aldridge wants to leave there. They could get rid of Gasol.
I don't think Aldridge wants to leave. I think they want him gone.
Well, it's a combination of both. I think at this point, I mean, I'm not sure what Aldridge is complaining about, but he is complaining. I don't know, but whatever the case may be, that's what they could clear enough cap room to have to get it done. Maybe not, obviously not this coming off season, but maybe when LeBron's a free agent next off season, next year, 2018.
All right. Well, this discussion went a little further than I thought it would, so I got to split the show up. We got to take a break, and we're back to talk a little bit more about basketball, the draft, the upcoming season, the Lakers. So don't go away. We'll be right back.